Want to get bigger for rugby? Well, stop that push-pull legs bodybuilding split, please. Here's how you can build the size that gets you jacked, but also makes you a juggernaut on the pitch. Because hitting muscles doesn't mean they're going to hit the movements that you need in a game of rugby. So many players out there copy bodybuilding splits because they're looking to get a lot bigger or more jacked. And then they wonder why they're getting slower, or they wonder why they keep getting injured in the season. Rugby size is built through movements that you are actually going to use in a game. If you master these, then you're going to build size that actually translates to good game day performance. Forget training muscle groups like legs or back and bis and chest and tries. Here are the movements that you need to actually build proper rugby size. For our upper body, we can look at the following patterns. Horizontal push. Examples of these could be the bench press, a push-up. And these are really useful for things in rugby like fending off or clearing through a ruck. You then have horizontal pulling. These are your rows, bent over rows, prone rows, dumbbell rows. Really useful for gripping, tackling, pulling people into a maul. We then have vertical push and vertical pull. Our vertical push could be an overhead press, for example. This is really useful, let's say, for line out lifting or jumping in the air and catching the ball. Vertical pull, your pull-ups, your lat pull-downs. This is also good for jackling, for handling the contact. For our lower body, we can look at the squat pattern. This is absolutely key. Here we have back squats, goblet squats, leg press. Really, really useful for anything to do with your legs. Running, sprinting, driving in the contact, jumping, set piece work. We then have the hinge, and this is our deadlift, our hip thruster. Really, really useful for things like scrummaging, pick and go. Again, running, anything to do with the lower body. We need to work on our single leg strength as well. Here we have split squats, lunges. Again, most of the things we do in rugby are going to be on one leg, using one leg at a time. So really important that we have single leg exercises involved. And finally, for our core, we use bracing and dynamic core movements. For our bracing core, these are carries, planks. They help with our stability, with our strength through the core. We then have dynamic exercises. These are where we are moving around the core. For example, dead bugs, wood chops if you want to throw in a bit of rotation. Super, super important for anything to do with the trunk. Lifting, collisions, sprinting, balance, stability. Those are the patterns that we are going to use. Hit these movement patterns every single week and you are going to build the rugby muscle that you actually use in the positions that you're going to be playing. How do we get consistent size gains every single month with this structure? So let's look at the weekly structure for an off or a pre-season phase. Volume is key early on. Transition into heavier strength closer to the season starting. Look to hit 3 to 5 resistance sessions per week. And these can be lower body, upper body, or full body, whichever you prefer. I usually say full body. That way you don't miss out on either the lower or an upper body if you miss a session in the week. For our main movements, as we previously mentioned, aim for 4 to 5 sets of 5 to 8 reps for the initial weeks of training. Transitioning to heavier weights at 1 to 5 reps for the second half of preseason, nearer to the playing season. Why do it this way? Well, heavy strength training creates mechanical tension in the muscles, which is a stimulus for increasing in size. This also enables us to create more force, which is a massive determinant of our physical ability in rugby. For our accessory work, look at 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 15 reps. Plenty of unilateral work here to ensure balance and rugby-specific strength too. Why? It creates muscle damage, which once we recover from, enhances the size of the muscle. This is typically where you may be feeling the soreness after a tough weight session. You must include heavy strength and accessory work in your gym sessions in the movement patterns that we have just previously mentioned so that you can get bigger and be a better rugby player. When we move to the in-season, we can look at a different weekly structure. You're going to want to reduce your session frequency and volume to avoid fatigue for games. You must maintain strength and size training in your resistance sessions. This can be managed depending on the weekly load due to training and games. For example, you might want to lower the amount of volume, aka the sets and reps in a session, on a tough game week. You can increase the volume and even the number of sessions on weeks without a game. Increasing your load is also vital so that you constantly adapt from training. Making sure that you include deload weeks every 4 to 6 weeks to allow your body to recover and adapt. You can also then change or rotate your exercises every 4 to 6 weeks in your different blocks so that you give your body a different stimulus. And by the way, if you want all of this program for you, you can join my program for free for 28 days. The link will be below in the description. This kind of training plan isn't bodybuilding. It is building a rugby body through movement-based structure that is going to enhance your force production and your ability to play on the pitch. Make muscle growth inevitable through this nutrition protocol. Here are the basics. You need to eat enough calories you need from quality food sources. If you're purely focused on size, then you need to try and be in a surplus every day. For your protein intake, try and aim for 2 grams per kilogram of body weight or more per day, and try and spread it evenly across 4 or 5 meals in the day. For your carbohydrates, look for 4 to 7 grams or more per kilogram of body weight per day, and this is to fuel your training and your recovery. Try to take this simple approach. Every single meal, base it around a protein source. Try and have a fistful of carbs and a thumb of fats included as well. Post-training, make sure you get quick carbs and protein in to refuel, and hydrate. 3 to 4 liters at an absolute minimum per day. You need to also make sure that you have plenty of color and variety in your food. That way you can replenish your energy stores, you will have readily available energy for your training, and you can overall just utilize that fuel for gaining more rugby size. Training creates the stimulus, food builds the muscle. Both of them are non-negotiables. You don't grow in the gym, you grow when you adapt from it. Stop sabotaging your size gains from poor recovery. These are the non-negotiables. Firstly, you need to sleep. Aim for that magic 8+ hours per night. When you're sleeping, your growth hormones are going to be at their peak and you're going to get the most recovery you can. Active recovery is also a really good tool. Light movement on your off days, such as an aerobic flush, maybe a swim or a stretch and a foam roll. Passive recovery as well, if that is available to you. Massage, sauna, compression garments. These can help top up your body's recovery and enhance your adaptation. Consistency is absolutely key. You need to have patience. Results are going to take a different amount of time depending on how long you've been training or what stage of the season you're at. So make sure you stick to it. Optimize your recovery and you are going to build rugby ready size quicker than you know it. Here's the hard truth. Being big in rugby is useless if you can't express that size explosively. You can get absolutely huge by doing bodybuilding training and eating 5 chickens per day. But if you can't move that mass, then you're just going to be a big stiff target in the middle of the pitch that is going to need a long rest after one effort. Rugby is won by who can apply force fastest, not generally by who is the biggest. In the preseason phase, bringing in power is so important leading up to your first game. In the playing season, every session needs power work. Examples are Olympic lifting, jumps, throws, plyometric exercises, sprints. Try to do these before your strength work, or you can do them as a superset with a heavy strength lift. A specific example might be 3 to 4 sets of power cleans, supersetted with broad jumps. Then after you've done these, you could move into your heavy squats. Or you could superset heavy bench press with a plyometric push-up. If you want more detail on power training, check out this video. I'll put the link in the description below as well. Be the complete package. Build size through movement pattern training. You also need to build your power, speed, conditioning, mobility. A big, stiff player can become a massive liability, but a big, explosive, fast, relentless player with a relentless engine is going to be an absolute juggernaut for your team. So don't just be big and explosive. Be big and fast. That's what's going to win you games. Size sets the foundation, but power is what makes you dominant. Save this video for future use. Train movements, not muscles. Build your size, then express it explosively. If you want this structured with coaching and progressive overload, then join my program completely free for 28 days. The link's below in the description. Stop trying to build useless rugby size. Start building rugby dominance.